It's time to begin Season 2 here on our draft-only franchise on 2K23, and of course the biggest storyline of this season is the debut of Jackson Baldwin, the first ever draft pick of the franchise, picked at number 2, and we first saw him in college where he showed, as we're seeing here, all of the glimpses of a future superstar that made him the consensus number 1 overall pick, but when we landed the number 2 pick, thought he was going to be off the table. The Orlando Magic would end up surprising the league, selecting Mirko Petrovic, the better fit, and we ran the card in on draft night to select Baldwin instead, and that really kicked off the hype towards him being the center of this rebuild here, and we saw in Summer League just how exciting of a player he could be. Those glimpses of scoring that he showed us, in that game in college that we went to attend were just shown on a much more consistent basis in Summer League, scoring at all 3 levels. The shot looked cleaner, and when this guy was attacking the basket, he could not be stopped. And it wasn't just scoring either. This guy showed that he could be a good decision maker on the pass, that he can be an impactful defender, and I think this is exactly the kind of guy at 6'10", 250 pounds that can really lead this franchise into the future. And I think if you look back to Season 1, the number 1 thing this team was truly missing was just a franchise centerpiece, right? It just seemed like we never had somebody to run the offense through, and it made our offense the worst in the league. But everything that we've seen so far leading up to today's episode from Jackson Baldwin has made me extremely confident in his ability to be the guy that we can run that offense around, that can make the smart decisions, get everyone involved. I was particularly impressed with his ability to play with the center Antonio Felder here in the Summer League, as we see a very nice pass there. Very excited to see how he fits with Jalen Duren, the reigning Rookie of the Year, but he adds the excitement, he adds the talent, and he can do everything there is to do to affect winning on the basketball courts. We have been building hype around this player ever since episode 2. So far, at every turn, he has lived up to the hype we're giving him, and I'm very, very excited to see this player continue to grow. But now it is time, as they say, for the rubber to meet the road. Everything leading up to this episode has been hype for Jackson Baldwin, but now he's got to prove it when the games actually matter. Starting here with the regular season, and our opening night is against the Utah Jazz, who made the biggest free agent acquisition of the offseason, signing Kyrie Irving to a 3-year deal. He's actually starting at shooting guard for them, which is interesting. But this should be a good opening night game. Before we hop into it, though, I do want to go over one thing, and that is the initial rotation for the year. I actually had a bigger problem with this than I had anticipated, and we'll get to it in just a minute. But here's our starting 5. Going to have Nembhard, Reddish, Baldwin, Okeke, and Jalen Duren as our 5. O'Neal and Okeke was a very tough decision to make. Ultimately, I went with Okeke, but I think these two could be swapping at any point really in the season. Karis LeVert is our 6th man. He's splitting the 2 guard minutes with Cam Reddish. O'Neal, as we already discussed, will be backing up Okeke. Dion Haywood will be getting 20 minutes a game as our backup point guard. Antonio Felder will be the backup center behind Jalen Duren, and then Christian Braun will be behind Jackson Baldwin. Now, the biggest guy that I really want to get minutes, but I couldn't find out where to put him in this rotation, is Bradford Reeves. I think, we traded up in the draft to get him. I definitely want to see some minutes from him, but I kind of had to decide 2 between Braun, Haywood, and Reeves. There's only minutes for 2 of these guys unless we just take LeVert off, but I think last year he proved that he's a guy that should be getting minutes for us, at least, as long as he's on the team at least. Also, there's only 2 players on our entire team who have at least A-minus playmaking. He's the second best playmaker on the entire team, and playmaking is something I'm kind of worried about with this second unit. So the fact that he's the best option, I think he should just get some minutes. So perhaps at some point in the season we trade LeVert. Perhaps we get an injury. I imagine Bradford Reeves will get playing time at some point during the year. There's, I think, a couple of different ways that I've kind of thought of that eventually get him minutes. But to start the year at least, that Summer League injury is going to come back to bite him because, you know, maybe I would have started him over Haywood and then LeVert could have been our starting point guard, or sorry, a backup point guard. But I really liked what I saw from Haywood in Summer League, and so I think he deserves these minutes. So that was a tough decision. Hopefully we can get Bradford Reeves in with some playing time sooner rather than later. But let's go ahead and hop into this opening night game against the Jazz. Vivint Smart Home Arena, recently renamed the Delta Center, fun fact, ahead of this upcoming season, but that will be the home of this matchup. And there we have it, Jackson Baldwin with the ball in his hands for the first time here. This is down to Jalen Duren. He's guarded by Walker Kessler, fellow second-year center. Baldwin kicks to Nembhard in the corner. He has enough space to fire from three, and that will be the first bucket of this new season for us. Baldwin has it. Duren comes and sets the screen. What a pass there, and Duren lays it home. Getting a little bit fancy there with the first career assist for Jackson Baldwin. Got a cutter play for Jackson Baldwin. He gets a wide open lane to the basket, decides to lay it up. Thought his first career basket was certainly going to be a dunk, but he goes conservative here. And his first 2 points are down the board early on. Irving receives the Freeman pick. He's blown up mid-range. Drops it in for the first Utah basket here, 2 minutes in to the first quarter. Baldwin, top of the key, seeing a lot of pick and roll action here to start this game, and this time he finishes through the Walker Kessler contact. He's getting himself an extra shot here, trying to get that three-point play the old-fashioned way here, and extend our lead early here to 8. So far, Utah hasn't had much answer for our offensive attack. Sexton to Kessler behind the back and drops it in for 2. Nice basket. No, Kessler had it in him. Hands off to Baldwin. That's a beautiful dish inside to Jalen Duren, and another layup for the squad. Pick and roll between the two now. That's been our best offensive play here early. Baldwin, the double step back. He is 0 for 3 from deep. Baldwin has it. He is not shy from deep. Misses first 3, but the fourth one, it drops home. A little bit too much outside shooting from him to my liking, but I won't complain about the make. Duren coming now to set the screen. And that's a feed just outside the outstretched arms of Jordan Clarkson. And Duren getting a nice bit of looks here in the painted area, courtesy of that pick and roll. First round of substitutions into the game now for both sides. Schroeder into the paint. He's blocked by Antonio Felder. It doesn't take long for him to make an impact on D. Baldwin, turnaround shot from the mid-range, goes around the rim and in. He's taken 8 shots and got 15 first quarter points. He has been all over the place here. Baldwin in the post, turns around and hits another shot. He's taking a lot of shots, but he's making a lot of them, so I'm fine with it. Schroeder, pick and roll, pulling up from 3, drops it home. Pick and roll inside to Felder, and that layup is good. The pick and roll has been money for us in the first quarter. Braun does a nice job fighting through the defense. Clarkson takes the shots, eventually off the Freeman screen, and that 3 is good. Braun from 3, no good. Felder tips it up to himself and slams it back in. Schroeder out to Agbaji. He's a good shooter, and he'll get that shot to go in. Good ball movement from Utah on that possession. Gets Agbaji open for 3. Goes inside to Baldwin. From the post, drop step is through the basket. Now just 7.5 seconds remaining here in the first. Going to be a strong first quarter from the team on the road. The best draft pick going against the best free agent acquisition. I'd say round one goes to Baldwin. He played the entire first quarter, and he was very active in it, as was Antonio Felder, to be sure. Baji gets Royce O'Neal to jump and gets the post shot to fall through. Not a huge part of his game, but it works out for him. Shimokiki is gonna finish the lob off the feed from Cam Reddish. Didn't slam it home, but love a good alley-oop regardless. Markkanen thought about setting the screen, decides not to. Now Irving has to score it over Cam Reddish, and he does just that. Very good at creating space, but been a tough start for him. Nemhard, we're going back to the same play 2 times in a row, and Shimokiki gets the finish once again. Irving, top of the key, gets a screen from Markkanen, pulls from the mid-range, starting to heat up a little bit here to start the second quarter. Reddish to Nemhard, who's going to get a pick from Duran. Duran fed in the post, turns around and drops it in. He has been very efficient with the looks he's been getting. Jazz going back to him in the post for the second time this quarter. Turns around on Royce, but this time the defense will hold. Royce going the other way. He's going to take it coast to coast. There we go. Not used to seeing him taking initiative, but hey, I like it. O'Neal out in the corner, finds a wide open Reddish. That's a really good look. No good, but Jalen Duran just shoves aside the defense for the board and the reverse putback slam. Beautiful. Reddish going to run the pick and roll this time and pull it from deep. From the top of the key, it rattles its way home. Irving on the isolation just blows by Reddish and gets to the cup, off glass and in. I think this graphic is pretty accurate. Heating up. He was 1 for his first 6, now 4 for 9, making a much bigger impact in the second quarter. Nemhard. Fairly deep 3. It's no good, but Duran grabs the rebound and puts it in over Kyrie Irving's defense. Nemhard has the top of the key, going for the oop to Reddish, and he finishes it. That was a tough finish. Only got it with the one hand, but that one hand was enough. Irving from the mid-range. That's just such a pure shot. Up to now 12 points and got himself up to 50% field goal percentage on the day. Nemhard feeds Duran. He's got a Baji on him. Feed inside to Nemhard, and Beverly, I don't know what he was doing on that play, but it wasn't defense. Kyrie has to force up a shot, and Reddish gets a piece of it. It's hauled in by Jalen Duran, and we're running. Transition defense was solid from Utah, though. Nemhard still gets that shot to go off the dribble from the mid-range. He is pumped about it, and he should be. He got a 30% field goal percentage lead on these guys. That's a beautifully anticipated steal from Reddish, and in transition, Royce O'Neal gets the basket. We've opened up a 20-point lead on these Utah Jazz. Talking about coming from the worst team in the league last season to doing something like this on opening night. Now, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. The Jazz were right there with us at the bottom of the league last year. Yes, they made a great addition in Kyrie Irving, who's been really good this second quarter. But it's not like we're facing the league's best. Still, there's no team in the league that we were doing this to last year, and it's very, very exciting. He would find LeVert. That's a clean look and a clean result. Up to 58 points here. Still over 3 minutes to go in the first half. Baldwin. He's got Jordan Clarkson on him. Just puts a shoulder at him and drives him back. Up to 20 first half points. 21, really, for Jackson Baldwin. They're getting thoroughly annihilated by our Las Vegas Outlaws. And we're just going to keep pouring it on them here. 23 points on 12 shots, pouring in 4 assists as well. What can't this guy do? Ron, that's a nice feed for Felder. Gets it inside and slams it in. Hewitt from the wing. That is an aggressive three-pointer, and it's pure. What a shot. And the lead is up to 30. Schroeder, wow, that was a wide open layup. He passes it up. Gotta get that rookie some confidence. That's his first basket and having a terrible first half. I like the veteran leadership there. Subtle play from Schroeder. Getting in a little bit of an isolation here. Baldwin versus Walgren. This is going to be the last play of the half. Baldwin gets stripped. Clarkson's on it. Can Utah actually come up with a good shot from this, though? They are not going to do it. Should have passed it ahead for sure, but wasn't the case for Utah. So we'll take a 28-point lead into halftime. On both sides of the ball, we were dominant in that half. Jackson Baldwin's been everything that we've been hyping up to be so far. And I think Nembhard's played really well as well. Jalen Duren and Antonio Felder, both of our centers are really coming to play here. And I can't really think of anybody who I haven't liked what I've seen from them in the first half. Baldwin guarding Sexton, and he stuffs him there. Rebound goes to Freeman. And he's going to get the and one. Unfortunate. Irving, he blows right by Reddish, pulls up from the mid-range, and drops it in. We had a couple guys pass up wide open shots there, and we got the layup to go with the foul instead, so it's all good. Well, they say all's well that ends well, and there you have it, a great offensive possession. Nembhard has a chance for the three-point play, which he will convert. Gets the screen. Markkanen forced to put up a contested three, but he makes it nonetheless. That's the first we've heard from Markkanen. Baldwin has done a pretty good job guarding him this game. Sexton to Kyrie, who drops in the catch and shoot three. That's an oop to Jackson Baldwin, and he slams it home. What a pass, what a finish. There was a lot of traffic going down there near the rim. I didn't think that one was going to be a successful attempt. Berger Freeman gets the shot to fall on the other end. Baldwin, he's got Sexton in the post. Goes right by him. Ends up being a tougher layup attempt than I thought it was going to be, but it still falls in. Markkanen. Gets a screen set by Freeman and goes out of bounds. Baldwin with beautiful on-ball pressure there. Not fazed by the screen at all. Wasn't the best screen attempt, I should say, but great defense nonetheless. Irving blows by Reddish again and gets the mid-ranger to go for him. Reddish has done like an admirable job on most possessions, but sometimes Irving is still making them just look foolish here. Pushing in transition. That's a wide open corner three for Baldwin. No good, but Duren grabs the board and puts it back up and in. Sexton taking it in on Nembhard. Pulls it up from mid-range, and it will go. Utah doing a much better job scoring here in the second half. Clarkson guarded by LeVert. Feeds Schroeder. Schroeder back to Clarkson here. The three rattles home. Give him too much space with that off-ball defense. Haywood to LeVert. He's pulling the three-pointer. No good. Royce O'Neal offensive board and putback. Clarkson trying to go to town on the center. They'll feed the mismatch inside to Markkanen, and it's going to work out how you might think it would. 7-footer going against LeVert in the post. LeVert all alone in the corner, but Felder comes to set the screen. He's going to get that free throw line jumper to fall. Hasn't been an efficient night from him. Schroeder gets the Kessler screen. That was a nice screen from Kessler, and he gets rewarded with the layup. Marking it. He's got Felder on him. Trying to go in. Gets him in the post, but it's no good. So the third quarter's gonna come to an end here. 85-63 is the score. Both offenses really slowed down there to end the third. But overall, great performance through three. Reddish trying to drive on Kyrie. He gets doubled. Duran finds himself some space there against Freeman. Reddish gets the Duran screen. Goes inside to him. And the layup drops. Freeman cannot hang with Jalen Duran on the inside. 18 points for him. Reddish now. Drives it in. Reverse layup is good. That's now a 28-point lead. I think under normal circumstances, I would sim the rest here, but Bradford Reeves is about to check in, and I do want to see his first action here as Kyrie Irving misses the pretty clean look from deep. McBride to Reeves, and that's his first NBA bucket here in transition. Positioned himself nicely so that he could finish the play once he got the feed. Reeves, wide open shot from the mid-range, rattles it in. A quick 2 for 2 from the second pick we just picked in this last year's draft. Whoa, that was not a great shot there. And Duran rejects it, and transition 3 won't fall for Bradford Reeves, unfortunately. Fontecchio inside to Tice, and Duran says no thank you, ma'am, to that shot. And then McBride finds Okiki with the reverse slam. Drops it in transition. Wonderful. Baldwin's about to check in for who knows what reason. Final score would be 112-82. Looking at the box score here, Baldwin definitely tanked his efficiency at the end of this game. He was just pulling out threes all day long. He ended up making one, and when I simcast like the last 2 minutes, but just started chucking up threes, and they all were missing. But overall, very impressed with what I saw from Baldwin today. 31 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. Jalen Duran, reigning Rookie of the Year, did his thing as well. 11 of 13 from the field for him. 7 offensive rebounds. Nemhard got 10 and 9, almost got himself a double-double there. So it was really these two. Like our best play all night for sure was these two on the pick and roll. It was pretty much unstoppable. I think so. Where is Okiki? 3 steals. I wanted to give him a shout out for that. He did a good job playing the passing lanes today. In terms of assists, I think we did a pretty good job passing the ball around. Reeves came in, made his first 2 shots, missed his next 4. Very ready to shoot, which I like, and his shot is quick enough. It's not incredibly quick, but it is pretty quick. Haywood wasn't feeling it tonight with his shot, but overall, 30-point win to start the season. You can't be mad at it. The last thing I want to do before we get out of this episode is show what we're doing for training here. We're going to start with Jackson Baldwin with playmaking. There's really 2 things I think he needs to work on: shooting and IQ. I think I care about IQ more, so I'm going to hope that playmaking improves that. I feel like it would. In terms of the other guys, Antonio Felder just being a great defensive center, I think, is all I'm really asking of him. He's already is that, so maybe you could, say, hey, maybe develop some post skills, but from what I've seen, he finishes everything that I would expect him to finish inside, so I don't think he really needs that much either. Deion Haywood, I think he needs to be a better passer / dribbler, so I think playmaking works. Also, you could argue defense, but we're going to go with playmaking here first. For the other new guys, Ruben Reese and Bradford Reeves, each are getting 2-way training, and those are our 4 rookies and what we're going to be training up on here in their first year. Not going to do any simulation today, just wanted to get through the first game. It was a really good one. I'm excited for what this team might be able to do against maybe some stiffer competition as we get through the year. That's all I got for this episode. I'll be back soon with another, and I will see you then.